Hi everybody, how we doing? Hope you're having a fabulous day. Sorry about the hat, but honestly, you really don't want to see what's underneath it. I came back from taking the dogs out and I was like, I either go live with a hat on or I go and straighten my hair. Because honestly, it looks like I've had my finger in a plug socket. So that's the reason why I've got the hat on. I don't normally do hats. So you'll just have to excuse me. You can laugh at me if you like. So my son's just laughed at me and told me I look like I sell fish and chips for a living. Hi Kim, how are you? Thank you for jumping on. So, as you can see in the title, hi Chelsea, thank you for jumping on, beautiful. Would you like to have more inner power in your mind? What do you think to the hat, guys? Yes or no? Is it one of them or is it one of them? Trust me, you do not want to see what's going on underneath here. Hi Gary, how are you? So thank you all for jumping on, and thank you to anyone who watches the replay. For anyone that's never seen me before, my name's Sarah Wood and I am the creator of Sarah's Mentoring Secret. Hi Esther, thank you for jumping on. I'm really good, thank you. How are you? So, as the title says, would you like to have more inner power in your life? So I'm going to start off with a saying that really stuck in my mind. And I keep looking away because I've got notes right at the side of me, so that's where I'm looking. And I'll look at you as much as I possibly can. So the saying goes, what I hear, I tend to forget. What I see, I tend to remember. What I do, I understand. That's a really good one to think on, isn't it? What I hear, I tend to forget. What I see, I tend to remember. And what I what I do, I understand. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 really dangerous words. And them 3 words are, I know that. I know that. When your mind's saying, I know that, what it's trying to do is trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you from change. It wants you to keep you in your comfort zone because it's safe there. Here's the problem. There's a massive problem with staying in our comfort zone. Because while we're in our comfort zone, we are not growing. And it isn't necessarily a good place to be. You know, when somebody stays stuck, they're not growing, they're not learning, they're just stuck. But they're not happy where they are. But they stay there because it's safe. So it isn't necessarily a good place to be. It's just familiar. That's what your mind knows. So put me a 1 in the comments if you've heard this saying. You ready? The mind, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Put me a 1 in the comments if you've heard that saying before. I've certainly heard it many, many times. So it doesn't mean your life is fantastic just because your mind tries to keep you the same. It just means it's familiar. And that's what it likes. So if your mind says, I know that, just use these 4 magic words. Thank you for sharing. Put me a 2 in the comments if you got them 4 magic words. Thank you for sharing. Very, very important. You remember those 4 words. And then pay more attention. One who conquers themselves. So I've got a question for you. How can you conquer you? Thank you, Chelsea. Awesome. How can you conquer you? Thank you, Kim. That gives you the idea that there's 2 of us, right? So how is this possible? The fact is that there is 2 of us. Hi Maria, how are you? Thank you for jumping on. There is 2 of us. So we've got people saying, how can there be 2 of us? Well, I'm saying there is, or so it seems. So we have one part of us known as our true self. And the other part of us that we are going to be knowing as is false self, or our conditioned mind. Where do most people base their lives? Do they base their lives in the true self or their false self? I'm going to tell you, most people base their lives on their false self or their conditioned mind. One of the most important things we can learn is the difference between the 2. So we've got our true self and then we've got our false self. Our true self is our original self. It's who we came into the world as. Okay? So we come into the world with a subconscious mind. We don't have a conscious mind. Our false self is our conditioned mind. Is who we learn to be. So we come into the world with just a subconscious mind, original self. Our conscious mind is like, if you want to image it, as like an empty cup when we're born. So we're loving, in fact, just if you don't mind hanging on, because it's really noisy, isn't it, that one? Sorry guys, he's wanted to put kettle on, but it's really noisy. So our original self, we're loving as a baby, we're spontaneous, and we're very peaceful. But then we begin the process of learning how to live and fit into this world. We learn these things, those things, and we learn this and don't do that, don't do this and be careful of that. We get filled up with information. Now, we learn in different ways. I'm sure you're aware of that. So the first way we learn is based on our own experience. This starts in the first few days of being born. You know, we're feeling hungry. Just imagine a baby, okay? A baby's hungry in the first couple of days. A little uncomfortable. But as a baby, we're not really sure of what to do. So we start with a little moan. You know, a little, you know, like babies go, goo goo, goo goo. Nothing much happens. So then we get a little bit more upset. So we get like a whiny, like a puppy dog whine. Yeah? And still not much is going on. So finally, the baby goes, "Ah!" And all of a sudden we get all the attention we can possibly handle. We get picked up, we get fed, we get loved, We get everything. And then we go, wow, that worked. So then we make a note in our operations manual of life. Get down. It says, when we want attention, the louder I scream, the faster they come. So this is what we're learning as a baby, even from a few hours old. I hope you enjoyed that little example. So, the faster they come. Then we file it. Put me a 3 in the comments. This is quite a good one. Put me a 3 in the comments if you know anybody who is still using this strategy, although they are 5 foot taller and between 30 and 40 years old. I certainly do. You know, people that don't get their own way, they paddy. They use that same strategy as they did when they was a few days old. So our operations manual becomes our blueprint. Our blueprint for how to think, how to behave and survive in the world. These ways of being are called our personality or our ego self, false self, or conditioned mind, I like to call it. So put me a 4 in the comments if you've heard these words. This is just my personality. It's just the person, it's just who I am. How many people have said that? Put me 4 in the comments if you've ever said, it's just the way I am. It's my personality. This, my friends, is doggy doo-doo. It isn't the way you are. It is the way you learnt to be in order to survive in the world. Thank you, Kim. Based on the people who domesticated us. So you are not your personality. No. All that is the stuff that's been put into your head. It's your egoic idea you made up as to be who we're supposed to be to survive in the world. Remember the live I did prior to this where we talk about the mind? The mind is built just simply for survival. It is not built to thrive. So it is constantly looking for negative. It is constantly looking for danger. If something nice happens, it ignores it because it's not a threat. So when people say, why is it I can only remember the bad stuff? Why is it I can only remember the awful stuff that happened and I can't remember the good? That is because your mind listens to the part where it feels danger. It's there to protect you. Or is it? It's there to protect itself. Okay? So there are 4 crucial things to remember when we're talking about this. 4. And you might want to watch this back again, just so you get this. So the first one is, this way of being was primarily created by you in order to survive, not thrive. That's the first one. So basically, you've got to imagine it as your mind, or the gremlin inside your mind, which I call your gremlin voice. You know, the one that says you're not good enough, the one that says you can't do that, the one that says you're scared, you're nervous, you can't do that, you're rubbish, you're not good enough. That voice, that is just literally your mind that's basically keeping you stuck, keeping you in your comfort zone where there is no growth, nothing. I always say to people, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because when we're uncomfortable, we know that we're growing. When we're stretching ourselves out of our comfort zone, we know that we're growing. But you are constantly listening to the voice in your mind. So you are battling it all the time. So every time it says to you, you are not enough, you say, thank you for sharing, and do it anyway. This way of thinking, number 2, this way of thinking and being is based on the conclusions and assumptions of a child. This way of thinking is based on the conclusion and assumption of a child. So when you think to yourself, of all the things that you've been taught, how many of the things that the beliefs that you've been given, drip fed over the years, if you really sat down and thought about it, are they really your beliefs, or are they beliefs that you have had been drip fed with? There's a difference. Number 3, we get conditioned with all the do's and don'ts, you know, from as parents, from as teachers, from our religious leaders, from the media, from friends, and from relatives. We are conditioned from a very young age to believe with their beliefs, not your own. So the thing is, we were born also with a choice. So we can either choose to listen to that gremlin in our mind and say, yeah, you're right, I am not good enough, I'm not going to do that. Or you can say, thank you for sharing, and do it anyway. So this is the most important thing to remember. This number 4 is the most important to remember. This programming and the personality you created as a result of it is not the real you. It's not the real you. It is only a recording of the information you learned as a child, stored now on tape, and now the tape plays unconsciously, automatically, and habitually. And you know that tape has the little voice or gremlin in your head. So what you're getting, that little gremlin in your head, is the recording of all of this. And that's what you're hearing. But you bought it. You thought it was you speaking. But it's not. Not if you seriously sit down and think about where your beliefs came from. Are they your beliefs? Or are they true even? You know, as a parent, we don't get a mother's guide of how to bring your child up. And this is how generations and generations keep following the same circle, the same system. They go to school, they pass their exams, they might go to college, then they get a job. And they stay in their mediocre because they're listening to their gremlin in their voice, in their head, sorry. Because I know everyone who's watching this live and anyone who watches this recorded, you are all enough. All of you are enough. And you have got, as I said in the other one when I said, who is in control? Who is the captain of your ship? The ship meaning this in here. Who's the captain of your ship? Are you going to let that gremlin inside your mind rule your life? Are you going to continue agreeing with it, saying, you're right, I am not good enough, I can't do that? You've got to say, thank you for sharing, but I'm going to do this anyway. I need to do this to grow. I need to do this to get a better life for myself. I need to do this for my self-esteem. I need to do this to have a life instead of being battered down all the time by people. You can't do that. How the heck can you do that? I get battered down. Why do you go live? Why do you do this on Facebook? I do this because I want a better life for myself. I am the captain of my ship. And I will continue and continue to grow until I get to where I change the pattern of my family. My pattern is going to be the one that, I've forgotten how you call it. I'm not recreating a wheel. I'm just basically going to switch it from school, exams, job. Every job I've had, I have not enjoyed. But I've stayed in it because we need to work, we need to earn money. That's what we do. That's what everybody else in the family's done. Why can't you just do that? Well, there's a big reason why I can't do that. Because I can't physically have a job anymore. Because I was told I had a disability and this was going to stop me from doing what I had to do. But you know what? I look that now as a blessing. Because I see the growth in myself over the last 3 years. And I get so passionate about it because I see people, the victims of their gremlin in their mind, the victims of people's opinions, people's limiting opinions on you, making fun of you, saying, what makes you all that? It doesn't mean I feel like I'm all that. It just means I want more. I want better. My parents are both over 60. My dad's over 70. And they both still have to work because they cannot afford to live otherwise. I want a better life. I don't want to get to retirement age and say, I'm going to have to continue working because I can't afford to live. And I'm not talking about living in luxury. I'm talking about just a bog standard 1, maybe 2 holidays a year. Not living a life of luxury in a mansion. They're in a 3-bedroomed house that's now paid for. So they've no mortgage to pay and they still have to work. Do you want that for yourself? For your kids? Be the captain of your own ship and follow your dreams. And continue to say, thank you for sharing, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to quieten you down and I'm going to make it where my success, and this is not just monetary, my success is going to drown that voice out where it's going to get sick and tired of talking to itself. Because that's what it's doing. And that's what I want for you guys. You are all more than enough. You've all got it inside you. You've just got to go with your gut. Ignore gremlin in your mind. And be the captain of your ship. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little bit more information. It's just a follow on from the live I did prior, which was the captain of your own ship. And it's literally, it's you having more inner power in your life. And that alone is priceless. Thank you all for joining. As you can see, I am extremely passionate about this. You know, coming from a background that I've had, and people say I'm stubborn, but I like to say, no, I'm not stubborn. I'm just strong. I have got a very powerful will inside me, a drive that makes it where every time I wake up in the morning, the first thing I focus on is giving value, is serving people. Doing these lives, posting the content, talking to people, helping people. That is what I strive to do every day, to make a difference. And even if it's only one person, there's one more person that's not listening to Gremlin. You can name it what you like. Gremlin, you know, not the gizmo, the cute one. I mean the really ugly gremlins, the really nasty ones. That gremlin. Mine's a whisper now. And I want that for you guys. So I hope you get some value. If you have, or you know anyone that will gain value from seeing this live, please feel free to share. You know, if I can help more people, the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And I really appreciate all of you for watching. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will be back here on Monday at the earlier time of 4:30 UK time. Minus a hat then, I promise. So take care, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Take care. Bye for now.